defending. I think it's like.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man. Come on. As the big man Ian Wright just said there, people deluded, I'm back again. I am a bit under the weather. I apologize for not getting this match reaction out yesterday. Some of you would have seen during the watch along. I was literally dying and I'm on about 20%, but you know, the show must go on. We don't make excuses. We don't feel sorry for ourselves. Having had an uncomfortable sleep, people, but nonetheless, you know, having been able to obviously sleep on the result and things, I tried to articulate my opinions and just write them down, essentially, people. Obviously, disappointment. It's never nice to lose. It's never nice to lose your second game in the Champions League, and that would be the first thing I would say. This is why I'm not a fan of rotation necessarily. Now, you know, I'll get onto that because rotation is necessary. Mikel Arteta has to trust his squad. I think in recent weeks, you know, when games are wrapped up and done, I think Mikel Arteta needs to kind of be smart and take Saka off, and just every minute counts. You know, if you take him off 10 minutes, you know, if there's 5 games and he's taken off with the last 10 minutes, that's 50 minutes saved in the legs, really. So it's unfortunate. But people wanted rest. People wanted to rotate players. People want to rest players for no reason. We're in the Champions League. We've only won 1 game in the Champions League. And had we have rested our team and made several rotations, we probably would have played even worse, you know, really. So it's absolutely ridiculous, in my opinion, really, if I'm completely honest. I think the issues for Mikel Arteta in that game came where, you know, taking off Saka, you're bringing on Fabio Vieira. Mikel Arteta knows more about football than me. He's got a lot of his tactical decisions well, but you could see, you know, Fabio Vieira isn't a pure winger. We're already playing a low block and we're playing a 5 at the back, really, which off topic, credit to Lens. They deserved their result. The atmosphere was rocking. Every one of those players worked extremely hard for their 3 points. Not a single player, you know, you could say they were lacking commitment. They came back from behind. You know, the first goal they scored, yes, Raya's being silly. You know, it seems like we take more risks in the defensive third than in the attacking third. 9 times out of 10, Raya, that pass works. Unfortunately, it didn't. And that first goal was an absolute boppers. They bopped us. That was a fantastic goal, as was their second, really. Yes, in the first goal, there maybe should have been a handball there, in my opinion. There was definitely a handball claim, but it is what it is, you know, really and truly. And I'm not going to get at Raya. You made a mistake. I do think in the 2 games that, you know, Champions League away from home, Spurs, I don't think Raya's done amazing. I don't think he's done terrible, but I don't think he's been amazing. You know, he was brought into the team to play those passes. So yeah, credit to Lens, really and truly. And again, like Fulham, like Spurs and Lens, these are points dropped from winning positions. Generally, if we want to get to the latter stages of this competition or any competition or win the league, we need to arrest these things. I still don't think we're creating enough chances. 9 times out of 10, we're playing a low block. It's very scripted. It's very side to side. There's not that healthy randomness. That being said, there was enough chances created to win the game. Going back to the Fabio Vieira thing, listen, Arteta knows more about football than me. Maybe he wanted Fabio Vieira on because he'll float in the pockets, but you could see you know, you've rested Benjamin White. You know, he did come on, but you've rested Benjamin White to go with Tomiyasu. I like Tomiyasu, but he doesn't really offer that much going forward, even though he had a chance. He doesn't really offer that much. You know, the partnership with Benjamin White and Saka is a lot more all-rounded on that right-hand side. So you've now got Benjamin White not on the bench at this point. Saka's come off injured. You know, you're not going to get nothing down that right-hand side with Fabio Vieira and Tomiyasu. And on the left-hand side, I do think Zinchenko defensively, there's fragilities, but I do think he tried. But with Zinchenko, Trossard, you know, again, I'll give him the luxury, just come back from injury, but he could someone that, when I describe Trossard as dynamite, really very good with both feet, stuff like that, couldn't sort his first touch out. And you've got Kai Havertz. We all know we're probably more right-hand centric, especially if there's no Martinelli, but we've got nothing down the left, nothing on the right. You know, the only 2 players really that I haven't got no chat for past the point, you know, would be Declan Rice, because I think you tried to get things going, really and truly. You tried to get things going. Gabriel Jesus, I thought you put in a shift and you obviously scored as well. Them 2 players, everybody else could have done a lot more. And in fact, it doesn't matter if 2 players were good. What about the other 9 or whoever came off the bench? We're in this together. Mistakes happen. Getting caught on the transition happened. It was Raya. It was Raya against Lens. It was Saka against Fulham. You know, it was Havertz against Man United. But we're going to live or die by midfield. And I can't see light at the end of the tunnel right now with this Havertz thing. I like him. You know, I'm going to support you, but we're disjointed. You've got Declan Rice on his own. You know, Odegaard's kind of having to drop deep as well. We're going long trying to find Havertz to win the first and seconds. It's dead. Let's be honest. It's absolutely dead. you know, and it shows we've got a long way to go. We're not necessarily the most street smart of teams, really. And I tried to write down and articulate my thoughts, people. I thought Nelson should have come on when Fabio Vieira was there. Even Nelson's touch was horrible. We knew that it was going to be a physical game. We knew it was going to be congested. We knew the atmosphere was going to be rocking. Some of you have played in the Europa League. Of course, it's not the Champions League, but you played in difficult atmospheres. And as we knew in this group stage, it's the away games. I said it when we done a when we did a live stream for the draw. You know, I think we can smash anybody at home. Away from home is what's going to make the difference. The Sevillas, the PSVs, where we lost last year in the Europa League, and Lens. And considering that, definitely this season, it's like two different Arsenal teams. Not that we're playing bad at home, but I think we're very naive defensively at the Emirates. Away from home is a lot more professional, and I don't think we're creating enough chances. Ultimately, the midfield battle is where you're going to go. I think there's question marks, and how efficient and effective you are in the defensive third and the attacking third makes the difference. I definitely don't think we did enough in the attacking third, whether that's creating, let alone taking chances. Defensively, we weren't good enough. Obviously, Raya's made the mistake. We've been caught in the transition. Tomiyasu's been sold a dream by Raya. The pass isn't good enough. You know, Declan Rice, Gabriel, Saliba, maybe watching it again could have done better, but fundamentally it starts and stops with Raya. As I said, for me, it seems like we take more risks in our defensive third than in the attacking third, and that doesn't really make sense, really. Again, the Kai Havertz thing, you know, the minute Partey is fit, the man needs to play in it. Like, I'm going to support Kai Havertz, but I can't see light at the end of the tunnel, and Mikel Arteta is going to have to face the music. As I said, big up Lens, man, because they took their chances, really. So yeah, and the ref made a couple of dodgy decisions, but we listen. Regardless of what the ref was doing, it's down to us, really. It's down to us. And while I like the way we're moving as a football club and the direction we're going, and we've achieved nothing yet. Don't let the fact that we've got a relative good record still. Regardless, we've got a good record, you know, in terms of results this season. We haven't tasted defeat too many times. In fact, that's the first time we've tasted defeat. No. But don't let that make you think we're of a level we're not. We've got a long way to go. There's several things defensively, whether it's game management, naiveties, all these things need to improve. We need to be a lot more efficient and effective in the final third. And Mikel Arteta, I'm not going to lie, you need to find a way to make us create and score better chances, because chance creation, chance conversion, they're two big issues at Arsenal. They shouldn't be. I'm sorry, but there's Martin Odegaard. Generally, we've got Trossard, Martin Odegaard, Nelson, Smith Rowe, Jesus, Fabio Vieira, Saka, all these guys, regardless of what you say, creating chances shouldn't be an issue. And I do think we've improved a lot more off the ball, but I think that's come at a cost of what we do on the ball, and it's far too scripted. It's almost like it's too much of a result of the training ground. There's not that healthy randomness, really. You know, again, 9 times out of 10, and definitely in recent weeks, less so much against Spurs. We know we play teams, especially more so away from home. Everton did it. You know, Nottingham Forest kind of did it. And it happened several times, really. Palace did it. Teams are going to get all their men behind the ball, limit the space. They're more than happy to let Arsenal play with the ball in front of them, knock it side to side. It's too scripted. You know, there's not too many players running in behind them. When it is, it's Kai Havertz. I got a lot of time for Kai Havertz. You play for Arsenal Football Club. At the end of the day, you've probably signed a 4 or 5 year deal. We hope that this is just a testing period, and we hope that, you know, when it rains, for a long period of time, there's sunshine and there's a rainbow. I hope that that's the case for Kai Havertz. But right now, it's a myth. We're gonna live or die by midfield, and I can't see games like that. I can't see how we get out, how we do something serious in this competition or in general with this midfield. You know, Odegaard was poor off his own back, but you know, he's having to tailor the way he plays. Declan Rice is left on his own, really, and Declan Rice, the strength of his is not building, even though I think he did well to drive the team forward, and I got a lot of time for Declan Rice based off yesterday as well. Kai Havertz makes the forward runs, that's great, but it's dead. And yeah, man, it's just frustrating. It's just mega frustrating. But I'd also extend that to Saliba, to be fair with you. And again, you know, credit to Lens, man. While he is a player linked with Arsenal, I think he's Lens' record signing. He got a goal and an assist. Boy, bring him to the carpet, really and truly. You know, end of the day, we've got to go again in it. Like, we've played 2 games, we've got 3 points and we've lost 1. We have to be perfect now. We've made it that much more difficult. At the end of the day, it could be better, it could be worse. You could be in a situation, and I'm not mocking Man United, but they've lost their first 2 Champions League games. They've got a lot to do. We've got a lot to do. So we count our blessings and we go again. But again, it's cheap goals, very cheap goals. Maybe the first one should have been disallowed for a handball. And I definitely, as an Arsenal fan, I would have hoped that would have been the case. But at the end of the day, there were several things we could have done better. The first goal, it starts and stops with Raya. He was caught in the transition. The second goal is unacceptable, really. And to be fair with you, Lens deserved it. This is why I tell you can't sit here and rest players and look at the fact that they're 15th in the table and all this nonsense. You know, the beautiful thing about football is, you know, on paper, it doesn't mean much. You know, how many shockers, whether you're young or old, how many football games have you lot seen where somebody's pulled off a shocker? Wolves against City the other week, going into the game, no one probably gave Wolves a chance, really. So you can't write off teams. You need to earn the right to win. And again, winning, losing, drawing, it comes with football. And I won't say I can accept losing or drawing because nobody likes to. It leaves a sour taste in your mouth, of course. But at the same time, you know, as long as I can sit there and say, do you know what, they were the better men on the day, which they were, you know, their manager, even at halftime, would have probably been a lot more happier than them. You know, we had too many regrets, even the goal. You know, I don't care how we score because, you know, by being switched on and alert, you capitalize on a couple of mistakes and you get more goals individually as players and collectively as a team. But we never made that goal that we scored, you know. Credit to Gabriel, credit to Saka, actually. Gabriel Jesus, who obviously scored, Saka and Rice. We forced a mistake from the lens done. Jesus has scored. Seems very clinical in the Champions League. So, yeah, man, it needs to be better, really. And, you know, it's lovely scenes from Lens. You know, they're celebrating like they've won the trophy. You know, the Liga Twitter admin is running bants. All we have to say is we get them on the rebound, really. We've made it more difficult for ourselves. And again, why I was so keen on making this Champions League, you know, easier for us is because you lot can see there's bare games. The quicker we can mathematically confirm qualification from this group, the quicker, yeah, we can make mass changes and save people. But yeah, people, we've lost in the Champions League. We have to hope that we could do something against Manchester City, you know, which I'm very pessimistic about. Unfortunately, people, 2 defeats in a week, you know, it could be very disheartening going into the October international break. But yeah, people, on that note, you lot, let me know your thoughts on the game. Let me know your thoughts on the individual players. Let me know your thoughts on Mikel Arteta's lineup. Let me know your thoughts on everything, really. As usual, appreciative to you lot tuned in. I'm sorry that I sound a bit under the weather and whatnot, but I hope that you lot have persisted with me. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe. One love.
You always use that active red line defenders. I think it's like